It does look like something you'd see on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or something.
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Look at that shit right there. Look at that. That dude, he still think he's alive.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts. So a lot of people out there saying, what happened with superheroes, man? Superheroes, you know, they used to be fun, man. Everyone is dark, everyone is unrelatable, everyone is just sad. You know, you got the boys.
Sure.
Everyone the boys, man. The boys, man, they crazy.
They're just evil.
They stay covered in blood. Constantly killing people, man. I never seen somebody be killed just by ripping their cheek off.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, man, I've never had so much anxiety watching that show right there. Even Batman out there, everybody wanted to be Batman. Everybody thought Batman was cool. Now Batman just angsty. Batman finally told Joker, "Fuck you, bitch." I'll fucking kill you. See, I will kill you. He's like, Jesus, I've been waiting to say that for fucking years. Feels good. Come here, bitch.
I love that. Say something else.
Yeah. Telling the Joker to go fuck off. Even Superman ain't shit these days. Superman finally lost his job in the Daily Planet.
Yeah.
Got these two boys at home, don't respect his ass. He just henpecked. Wife just telling him what to do. He's always, okay, honey, all right. Probably driving a Kia and shit. Still, but man, with Superman ain't shit. You know, things are bad, man. You know, thank God Invincible is here.
Sure.
You know, because we're getting back to some colorful, kid-friendly, cartoon, wholesome fun once more. Like, what?
If I was that mailman, I would stop and stare too.
I like the way that mailman like, what's wrong with that white boy?
We need to talk. What I'm about to tell you will change everything.
People are like, whoa, what the fuck? What happened to my kid's cartoon right here?
That took a turn.
Man.
A bloody turn.
Well, you get that for about 15 minutes.
Yeah. People are like, wait a minute, what happened about wholesome entertainment over here, man? Well, fuck, that didn't last long, did it? Guess I'll go back to watching cat videos now. Yeah, people, you know, this is not what it comes across as. And that is something that fans might actually look at and say, you know what? That's either great or that's what I have a problem with this right here. The new Invincible show from Amazon. And I'm looking at this and I'm being serious, man. I cannot wait for these moms to start losing that shit online. Thinking that they're watching something on Cartoon Network or something on Nickelodeon. Because it's got that style there.
Oh, it definitely does. It's almost like that same animation team that did the Jackie Chan adventures.
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, there's a lot of cartoons they do in this style today, and a lot of them are geared towards kids. And they say, well, we're about to change all that shit right now. And so far, Amazon, they don't do heroes wholesome. They don't do heroes nice. They're the ones that actually change the game and do heroes nasty and dirty.
Well, you should know that much like The Boys, this is also produced by Seth Rogen.
Exactly. And if you've seen The Boys, then, I mean, this is the only thing I've seen where, like, really, man, oh, this is not the trailer with it. But I was looking, they had one trailer where they all crashed into a whale stomach and just and just crawled out covered in whale guts. And you know that show means to offend everyone. You love animals, don't watch this shit.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you know what? You love people, don't watch this shit. You love human beings, no, because we fuck human beings up in here, man. And human beings are not exactly the greatest thing in here, man. So this is coming from Seth Rogen. This is not, even in an animated form, this is not your most wholesome, this is not your most family-friendly superhero show right here. And if you've read the comic book, and I got into this, you read it, you actually told me all about it, man, back in the day. If you've read the comic, then you know exactly what you're getting into with this. You know how violent this things get.
The comic is interesting in as much as it is a colorful comic that has mostly a hopeful tone, non-cynical tone to it, except it at times gets super violent and bloody.
And you know what? That is where the tricky part with this comes in. How do you please fans of the comic while changing up things for new viewers? You know, because I think that for fans of the comic, me being included, and I'll be honest with you, I think I read most of this. I haven't finished it. But I think some of the presentation in the show that they do, the impact can be lost on people who love the comic book or at least read the comic book. Now, I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that I think some of that impact of it can be lost right there. And I'll explain a little bit what I mean with that.
Okay, because I'm disagreeing with you, so I'm very curious.
You don't even know what I'm saying yet. I just said I will explain you like I don't agree.
I don't agree with your opening statement, but I'm willing to hear your thesis.
You sound full of shit, but I'm willing to let you dig your own hole. Carlos, you ever read the comic of this? Yeah, man. You know what? I love this comic, man. And I'll tell you the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying right now. Because for those who have read the comic, as we all have in here, the comic plays out like a superhero coming of age story with a sweet father-son bonding subplot in there. They got some great moments of that in there. What this is, it's you can see him right there. Omni-Man, voiced by J.K. Simmons.
Perfect casting.
Perfect casting.
Looks like him.
It really, yeah. If you took J.K. Simmons, and actually he did bulk up for nothing in Justice League.
I know, just to wear a trench coat over all those muscles.
Man, y'all gotta make.
He looks swole in that trench coat, though.
Man, he should did. He should did. Man, y'all remember J.K. Simmons? I'm gonna put J.K. Simmons muscles. Look at him right there and right there. Even in Whiplash, he was muscular. Man, look at those muscles right there. Ain't seen them muscles since.
Those muscles.
Whiplash.
Yeah, those muscles did not make the cut in the Snyder cut.
No.
You did not see. There's no
those muscles were used to throw a chair at a fucking drum player that was in. And those muscles didn't even come. You're right. It didn't come out in the Snyder cut.
No.
He cut his muscles out.
He used them to turn the bat signal on once. I did it.
Hey, maybe that bat signal is very heavy.
It is. It is. But I thought, look at that. Man, now y'all almost obligated to make a live action version of Invincible just so we can have J.K. Simmons with his newfound muscles and a hairpiece on and a Hitler mustache. Because they would have to cast him in that.
Yeah.
He's great casting in this. You heard his voice in the trailer. But I was also very impressed with Stephen Yeun.
Yeah.
Who voices Mark.
Right. Mark
Grayson.
Son.
Mark Grayson, his son.
Yeah, and one of the big things they do, you're like, Stephen Yeun, they do some race swapping in here, in that they've made the mom very much Asian, and thus Mark is half Asian.
Yeah, and that's why he's half Asian, half alien.
Yeah.
He's having a pretty good year too. Oscar nominee and everything else. People know his name.
Yeah. No, I'm glad he's come up, man. I'm glad he's come up. Oh, this is a good time to be Asian too, because people are like, oh shit, y'all being persecuted now. We got to give you shit. Believe me, I've been through it.
I mean, that's kind of fucked up, but yeah, we have been through it. But the whole that Stop Asian Hate's like, man, y'all on a roll. Capitalize on this.
I'm all for the come up. Get your shit while you can now, man. But he is.
Next year they will have forgotten.
No, he is great as Mark Grayson, man. And like I said, man, you know, those father and son moments that are in there, they play out very well in the show. Those are some of the greatest moments in the show.
You seem tired.
I'm fine.
You think you can do that, Mark?
Yeah.
After I said all that to you, hold on, I'll be right back.
Fly, motherfucker, fly!
Yeah, get out of here.
Mark, get the fuck out of here, man. Fly, motherfucker. He gets on, Mark, you didn't see nothing. Shut the fuck up, all right? No, there are some, those are some great moments in there like that, man. But I tell you that, and it might not be completely like little kid friendly, but they keep this tone up long enough to where when you get to that, like for example, if you're reading the comic, because they do the same. This is mostly for the comic that I'm talking about. So for the comic, they keep that tone up for so long. These father and son moments, these wholesome moments. It almost feels like a Spielberg Amblin film in a way. They keep that tone up for so long in the comics that they get to a point where you flip one page and that page is splattered with blood and guts, and you're like, the fuck? You come in like
Getting whiplash.
You're looking back at the cover like,
yeah.
did I switch books at some point?
Exactly.
Is this a misprint?
Did somebody fucking hack my comic book? What the heck?
Why is The Walking Dead in here all of a sudden? Oh, God.
Yeah. You look at that and it hits you hard because it is such a wholesome comic that you don't expect that, man. It actually feels very family friendly for a while.
This had that feeling of like, wow, this was Spider-Man when he was a teenager, having to go to high school and stuff. The only comic head did that before was Static, and it hadn't been around that long. But this really captured that.
Yeah, and and when they get to that moment here, because it really does it feels sweet almost. And then you get to that moment, I remember thinking like I felt betrayed. I felt like,
of course, you're supposed to.
I was like, why did they do that? You're not supposed to do that in this. And the show, on the other hand, I can understand probably why, but the show, this is what I mean by it doesn't have that impact.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Because of how they rush a certain thing or change the order.
Well, the show immediately embraces more of its adult tones.
Yeah.
The characters talk more adult. They use more adult words. The violence kicks in a little bit quicker. So it loses that impact because I can only go by how I feel. I remember reading that comic, and even when I was braced for it, you braced me for it. And even when I was braced for it, when I got to that point where the comic got extremely violent, it hit me really hard because the comic book itself was just not that way, and I think that was done on purpose. So when I get into the show, and the show is just speeding along so fast, and they have a lot of these adult themes that are coming in quicker, the violence hits in quicker. It just doesn't feel the same way it does when reading the comic. Now I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because to the show's strength, they can get past that by doing something else. I understand why a show doesn't want to take its time doing that.
Yeah, because
it'll feel like a kid's show after a while.
Well, plus they have is it 6 or 8 episodes? Like they got a short timetable.
8 episodes.
8 episodes, and I know it's like they gotta hook that new audience.
Yeah, and that is the reason why. Because if they go on too long with the comic tone that they had, where it seems so family friendly, people will start thinking that it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
And you'll lose your adult audience. Mm-hmm. Our kids are going to watch it who shouldn't be. And one day they're going to be watching it like,
What's wrong? What
the hell? I'm writing a letter. My son shouldn't be watching this. They should have told us this shit was going to happen. Yeah, people, but when they get into the show, to make up for that, there are so many twists and turns and things to throw you off, to keep your interest, to keep you guessing. They have an alien attack. And it's that same alien attack we see in every movie. It's aliens come down. We don't even know why. They don't even know why. Why you want to attack Earth? Why you want to take over Earth? Fuck, I don't know. It's there. All the aliens look the same. The army looks the same. All generic. They always got that one leader. They always got this. The same. You saw this shit in Avengers.
Avengers, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing you see with these aliens. But the thing is, they think that they lead you to think, like the Avengers, this is going to be the main attack. And it's like, nah, that is a distraction for the real shit that's about to hit you in your face. Kick you straight up in your chest, man, because when you see what really happens, you're going to realize, like, oh, they tried to do some sleight of hand shit to make me think, like, they're doing some typical Avengers or Saturday morning cartoon shit with this. And then that's how they catch you off guard with the real thing that happens in this, which we cannot tell you. But if you don't know the comic, you really will. My wife saw this, and she was shocked. She was like me. She's like, why did they do that? And she wanted to watch the next episode immediately. She says, I got to find out why that happened.
Yeah.
that didn't make any sense. And I was like,
yeah, it will.
But I will tell you this, that the fans of the comic out there, they will notice differences. They have ethnic changes in this, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Small story changes, dialogue changes. Like I said, the adult stuff kicks in quicker. They speed the story up a little bit. Like I said, you were saying this is 8 episodes. So they speed the story up a little bit quicker. And by the end of episode 3, it starts to really deviate away from what you see in the comics for people who know the comics. Now, for people who don't, it's still a great, every episode ends on a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Great cliffhanger.
Yeah, which is what good TV does.
It always keeps the stakes higher. That's what I say. For these kind of shows, episodic, leave people with a good hook.
It's funny because one of the things, like, because I went back for 2 weeks, I went back and reread like all 150 issues, just straight. Because Kirkman really knew how to end that book, every issue on a cliffhanger. Because I was like, I'm going to go to bed after this next one, and it would end in the place where I was like, fuck, I gotta read the next one.
Man, this fool woke me up. Like, I'd be falling asleep. I read comics and I read books at night to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And this fool right here, Robert Kirkman, I'll be dozing off and say, well, this worked. And then I'd read that last panel like, I'm awake.
Yeah.
I gotta find out what's happening next. He kept me up till 5 a.m. reading these comics, man. I say this with confidence. This is definitely way more violent than the comics. Maybe because they get into it sooner. But it is.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Honestly, those comics after a while, they're just, people get ripped in half on the regular.
And they do here, man. It is. But I'll tell you this, it makes the stakes higher. There were some people that the character is called Invincible. Mark Grayson goes on to be the character of Invincible after he learns his powers from his dad. He calls himself that. And there are moments where he's being, there's a lot we can't tell you because they sent us a.
I know.
They sent us a
we
list.
wouldn't have anyway, but they sent a list of things. Do not talk about this. Don't bring this up. It's like, wasn't going to. Can we talk about this show at all?
Yeah. It was a list. You know what? They might as well send an email saying, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
And praise it. Say how good it is, but say nothing about it.
Say, tell people to watch and is in what you're doing.
Keep Invincible's name out of your mouth.
But the character of Invincible, man, he's once he becomes invincible, the government is on his ass to constantly save people. One, that is really cool to see this kid just be deprived of his teenage years because there's somebody from the government always saying, they tell him straight up, you ain't got no fucking life. You want to be a superhero, then hey, that's what comes with it. But the other thing is that when he's out there constantly saving people, the show is so violent that I believe half the people he saved weren't gonna make it. There's a dude that fell down a volcano. I said, that motherfucker's gone.
Yeah.
And I was surprised when he got saved. I was like, whoo, shit.
People do die so much that when somebody gets saved, you go like, oh, he got one.
People die so much. You know how it's a surprise in most superhero things when you let somebody die? It's a surprise when you let somebody live here. That's how violent this is. But I tell you what, it keeps the stakes higher because I think most of these people gonna die. They're not gonna get saved, but it keeps me on the edge of my seat when I'm watching it. I would say it's interesting to see the characters come from the page to animation, come to life. The animation itself. Now I'll tell you, the animation it really is it does look like something you'd see on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or something. Wow. That's what I'm talking about, right? Look at that shit right there. Look at that. That dude, he still think he's alive.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, man. Half these people don't even know when they die in here.
If you gotta go, that might be the best way. Yeah. But like, if you had your back turned, so you didn't have a chance to see it.
Yeah, so you didn't see it. That's the only reason he's screaming because he's like, oh shit, yeah, he saw it coming. He still thinks something's flying towards him right now. This motherfucker still, he still think he's cool. Look, he's just posing. I would say it's on the level of something like Avatar, the Last Airbender or something like that. But when they start getting to action scenes, that animation is incredible.
Yeah.
The action scenes are really where the animation shines. Other than that, when they're talking, hanging out, that's why I say you could look at this, and if you're not careful, parents, I'm telling you, be fucking careful because those little motherfuckers will go in and cut this on, and you'll think you're watching just another cartoon. until you start seeing them doing shit like this right here. Like, what the fuck is my kid watching? The action animation is amazing. They really do go out of their way for that. And the voice work in this, they do a great job at capturing the spirit of these characters.
Oh, they really do. To the point to where I would read the comic and hear these voices. The casting is amazing. I only had a problem with one cast member.
Well, I want to know who that is. I'm going to tell you who I liked. Sandra Oh plays the mom, who we saying that she's had in the comics. She's white, I believe, but she's half Asian.
Yeah. I mean, she's white, but she looks like she could be Hispanic.
You know, they trying to bring some diversity
Yeah.
in. So Sandra Oh doing that voice, she really captures that mom. Where I ain't surprised by shit anymore. Dad comes back saying, man, I've been 6 months in a time portal in another dimension fighting on an alien planet. What's for dinner? And she's like, come on, sit down. Chicken pot pie. You know, she's seen it all. She doesn't care. She captures that very well. Mark Hamill. It's great to hear Mark Hamill coming in and not doing this.
Right?
Yeah, he plays the character of Art Rosenbaum, who is a real down-to-earth, just real cool old dude who just makes superhero costumes for all the people out there. Super suits, yeah. And he's real cool, man. Like, I did not know that was Mark Hamill when I was watching it first. I don't know if you had a problem with this character, but this is who I liked. I did like Walter Goggins.
That was who I didn't like.
You did? I liked him, man. Cecil Stedman. Cecil Stedman is the government guy that is always hounding Mark, aka Invincible. Mark is like, man, I'm about to get some ass for the first time. He's like, I don't give a fuck. There's something going on in China right now. You're a superhero. You better tell that bitch an excuse and let's go. You know, you know why I liked him? Because I did hear him in my head as some gruff, average voice. And Walter Goggins came in. I was like, you know what? That went against what was going on in my head, and I liked it.
Well, that's good. It's Walton Goggins, and I'm only correcting
you. Thank you. No, man, I have no problem with that.
I know. No, but
I've been people just to like put some context on it. I've been mad all day. So Martin's like, man, I got to correct this dude because he sounds stupid, but I can't let him sound more stupid.
I wouldn't think you sounded stupid. It's just, some people get offended when you correct them. You tend to not. I was even explaining that to somebody, but today is weird, so.
I understand. No, and I will know this day forever. Walton Goggins.
Yes. So my thing is, when you have the guy in the government who's running things, they're always gruff. They're always barking orders. I don't give a shit about you. I need you on this. You're fired. Get this. Why is everybody fucking up? And Cecil was a character who had that position who wasn't like that. He wasn't a hard ass on Mark. He was actually pretty gentle with him, like very understanding, and just handling him like, hey man, I need you to do me this favor. So it was disappointing to me that I come to this and they've changed the character in such a way to where he is that guy who's just barking and orders at everyone.
Well, it got to a point where he was that way with Mark.
No, yeah, but that was after some shit went down.
Well, that's because they sped everything up in here.
Yeah.
Which is, like I say, that's something that.
But even as that goes on, it kind of reverses.
Yeah, but see, that's something I noticed with that. I said that could be a problem with people who read the comics, because they are, instead of thinking like, okay, let's save some of this for next season, because they might not know if they have one.
Sure.
They start to condense things. Things start to just be compacted a lot. And it didn't bother me that much, but I said, this is moving really fast.
Well,
and they're going to start cutting out some stories.
Like the longer this series goes on, the more there's just so many betrayals and people doing things that they think are for the better of other people without asking. And because of how Mark and Cecil were, like, they were such good friends, when things turned sour, it really impacted me. I was like, oh man, I hate to see this. But at this point, I'm like, that guy.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. 'Cause like I said, that's a problem, with, I think, things being sped up, because some people don't see things that they like where it took time in the comic to get there. So, like I said, maybe some stories are even going to be cut out, because there's so many subplots that are going on that are going to be cut out, because they're speeding things along so much to get to the main storyline of what's happening here. What they do here, I thought it balanced itself well for people who are new to this. And we've been talking about the comic book fans all along, but people who are new to this, I think you're going to have a good time. you know, in addition to handling so much story, so many subplots, it does also work well as a satire of the superhero genre. You know, everybody's talking about, man, superhero shit getting oversaturated. I'm tired of it. You know, they really are coming out with interesting things. It really does tell a story in a way that does catch you off guard if you haven't seen the story before. And I highly recommend watching it. It balances a lot of things and manages to reposition itself as something that is kind of fresh despite all the superhero stuff that we have out there. 3 episodes in, excuse me, Jesus, I'm drinking. 3 episodes in right now, I do give this a low full price.
Yeah. I give it a regular full price. I think it fulfills the promise. If you've been a fan of the comic, it really brings it to life better than could be expected, really.
We got to stop these split levels over here because you said full price. I said I also said full price, but then you got to say, I say, man, I give this low full price. Well, I give this a regular full price. I'm like, man, you already started shit with me. we pretty much agree.
I know, but I was like, why you got to say low full price? Just say full price. Hey, always got to be a little backhand somewhere in there.
And see, that you make me feel like I'm being a bitch about things. But I give this a low full price. You can't even give it a full price. You just got to pick on some shit, man. Well, it could have been better. No, man. I got to nitpick on shit. But no, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.